Okay, welcome to today's video. For today, we're going to see how we can unlock the next level after finishing the previous one. So we're going to start with level 1, after which we reach the game end or the end of the line, then we're going to be able to unlock the second level, which will be our stage 2. So it's going to be transition from this little image up top to this image which I have. Now, as you can see, I have a basic game inside our scene. So let me just play this so we can see what we are going to do today. Alright, so maybe you've already guessed it, but the goal is to reach this flag over here. So we can now play this game. Alright, so inside the spacebar I'll be able to jump. Okay, then to the next style. Alright, okay, and then the final one would be up here. So this would be our destination. As you can see, it doesn't really give us anything for now, but that is what we're going to be handling. So I've already set up everything. The part remaining is the development, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to explain it. So I'm going to go over our hierarchy as quick as possible. So we have our main camera and the directional light by default. Now for the game, this is all an empty game object. So I just created an empty game object and then I placed these cubes up there. So you can see these cubes are, let me just zoom this. So the first cube is the base, which is the floor down here. The second is the first step. The third is the second step, and so on up to the end. Now this end is where we're going to meet with our flag. So you can see that it's just a little cube which was up there, but I removed the mesh renderer, so it has a collider which will indicate once we reach the end of the game. So that's it for the game. The in-game canvas, as you can see, it's only an image. So this is the image which is over here to show us that we've reached the end of our game. And then we have a win canvas. This canvas is going to show us once it's supposed to pop up once we reach the end of the game, which is this location. So we're going to use code to make this work in a little while. So of course, this is an event system. Without it, you can't use the UI inside of Unity. So this is very important. And then we have the log canvas. This is how the game should start. So it should start this way, and then after this, we should have an opening which will lead us to our second stage. So this is just the UI which is there, and for both of them, they have an image which is this around it. Under it, these are just a few buttons. So that is everything I have set up in the hierarchy. Now we want to start coding. So first of all, we need to create a C# script. Hit create, and then we're going to use our game manager to set all these up. So let me create this and open it up inside Visual Studio. So once you create that, right click on it and then click on open. So this opens up in Visual Studio, and hopefully I'll see you there. Now inside of Visual Studio, first we need a reference to two of our game objects. So first of all, type a public game object, and let's call this let's say the locked canvas and the unlocked. So the first will be our locked canvas. And the second, so let's copy this and paste it down. This is supposed to be locked, not locked, or whatever that was. So this will be the unlocked canvas up and above. This would also be locked. So lest I forget, let's go ahead and include the UI namespace. So copy this and then down, paste this and add .ui to it. Now inside of my start, I'm going to check to see if a certain number or if a certain condition is true. Then we want to show this canvas, any of these canvas, or is it canvases? Canvas. I'm not really sure what they call them, but one of these canvas is going to appear. So what we need to do now is we need to check to see if our player prefs dot get int. If on this integer we're going to call it our level number. We want to check to see if our level number, if this is equal to, so if this is equal to 0, then we want to of course show our locked canvas. So this would be the locked canvas dot set active, and this would be true. So this is going to display at the beginning. Otherwise, if it's any other number, then we want this locked, or we want our unlocked canvas to be set to true. So let's type unlocked canvas and then dot set active, and let's make this true. So yeah, so this should take care of it. And while I'm doing this, I want to go ahead and also deactivate both of them. So let's copy this and paste this down here, and then we set this to false, and we also set this to false. So we also do the reverse. So copy this and then paste it down here, and then add false to this. Okay, so what I did right now is I used player prefs, which is Unity's simple way of storing data inside of a game. So we want to check to see if this level number is set to 0, then we want to set the locked canvas active. Otherwise, we want to set the unlocked canvas active. So as I showed you before, the locked canvas is the one which has from level 2 down to 5 locked, and then the unlocked one would unlock our second stage, or to unlock the second UI, so the second stage UI. So that's just the simple logic behind this. Now the next thing which we need to do, since this has been set active, we need to go into our player movement, and then we need to check to see if the player collides with the end of the line. So in other words, back inside of Unity, you can see this end space over here. So this flag, once the player reaches here, we want to show that it has reached the end of the game. So and then we want to display another UI over there which can be able to take us back to our menu. So back inside of this, we also need to add a third canvas. This would also be a public game object, and then this is going to be the UI. So let's just call this a player win. Player win. Should I say image now or canvas, or whichever one? So let me just call this canvas, and then once this player collides with this, then we want to be able to access this game manager script, and then we're going to display this canvas, which will be able to take us back to any one of these, either the locked canvas or the unlocked canvas. So we can save this and go back into Unity and open a script which controls our player. So go back into Unity. Alright, so now I'm going to locate my game object. So in this case, it's going to be my sphere. All right. So open this up, and then for the sphere, locate the controlling script, which is this movement, and then double click this to open it up in Visual Studio. Now there is a bunch of code over here. So this is how to move a 3D game object. I did a video on this a while back, so if you're interested in it, I would leave a link for the video in my description so you don't get confused. But this is not what we would be looking at. All we need to do is go down below this method, and then we need to create another method to detect collision. So this would be a void on collision. Enter. All right. So and then we want to check to see what it collides with. So collision. Let's make a variable for the collision. So let's make this col, or let's just spell collision completely with a lowercase so we don't confuse ourselves. You can see there's a difference between the two of them. So all we need to do now is we need to check to see if our player, which is the script this game object is currently connected to, so we want to check to see if collision dot game object dot tag, if this tag is called finish, which is the name of our game which is the tag which we tagged our game object with, so we tagged it with finish. Then we want to access our game manager and then call on a certain method. So since we have nothing left to do, let's go back in our game manager, and we need to make a singleton of this game manager. Alright, so singletons are simply scripts which are not meant to be duplicated, so you can't use them in multiple instances. There can be only one instance, and an instance is like opening or a particular game object. Just put it as a game object. That's an instance. Alright, so singletons cannot be used twice or three times, unlike other scripts, but normal scripts can. So right now what we need to do is to call this a public static game manager, and this game manager is going to be equal to our instance. Alright, so let's use uppercase for this, and inside of the start, what we need to do is to indicate or to check to see if there are any other game managers. So if game manager, if this or if instance rather is equal to null, which hopefully there would be no other instances, then we want to set our instance to be equal to this. So this represents this script, and then instance is the identifier for this game object, which is our game manager. So this is what it would do simply. Now we can go back into our movement, or before we do that, we need to add another method. So this method is going to be a public one, so we'll call this a public void, and then let's call this set win UI. Alright, so for this set win UI, now we want to set our player win canvas to be active. So in this case, our player win canvas dot set active would be true. And just to be certain that I'm spelling this correctly, let's check this again. So this is player win canvas dot set active. and then just above it we want to also change our number. That is this level number, so we want to set our player number or player pref dot set int, and this integer is going to be our level number, and we want to set this number to be equal to 1, right? So this is what will happen. It will set this number to 1, and then our player win canvas dot set active will be true. Alright, so this is this is going to take care of our win canvas. So with this done, we've updated the player prefs, and alright, so now we only have two things left to do. First of all, we need to go back into our movement, and then we need to detect this collision. So I'm going to type in once this collides with our tag finish, we need to type game object or game manager, manager dot instance, and then dot, we need to get the method, which is this, so we can set this number and also set our win canvas to be active. So this will be our set win UI. We need to call on this method, so this will be set win UI. Okay, nice. Now what we need to consider is back in our game manager, we need to make our buttons work. The buttons for the various stages, that's for the locked and unlocked canvas. In this case, that's going to be the first stage, so we want that button to work. And with this, we need to make another public void. So this will be a public method, and let's call this menu. Alright, so inside of this menu now, what we need to do is we need to get we need to deactivate the canvas. So we're going to check this all over again, then copy this player prefs dot get int and paste it down. So it checks for this condition all over again, and then once it checks and it sees which condition it best fits, then it's going to select which one it sees best. So if we've changed this number to 1, and then this win canvas is set active, then definitely it's going to select this method or this else statement, otherwise it's going to use the if. And so with this done, we can now save. If you want this to be cleaner, you can clear the update, right? So we don't need that, or we did not use that. Now you can save this and go back into Unity. Okay, so once this loads, first of all, set these various canvas to be active. So set them all to be active, and then select the game manager, which this script should be dragged onto it, and then we need to place this inside of their various positions. So for the locked canvas, it's going to go up top, the open locked is going to be on the unlocked, and finally my win canvas is going to be down here. So this should take care of it. Now you can set them to be not active, so they don't stress our CPU. So once you deactivate all of this, you still need to configure this button which says 1, and I think that should be in the locked canvas before it changes. So go back to where the button is, and then add an on-click function to it. If it appears something like this, just click on the plus so you can add it then drag the game manager in there. Okay, so we have a missing method which we're supposed to use for our first stage button. Now let me just quickly add that inside Visual Studio. So just below the menu method inside our game manager, let's make another void or method, so public void, and then let's call this start game. Okay, and then for this we're going to set them both to be no longer active, so copy this line and also copy the one for the unlocked canvas and paste it down there. So very quickly before we resume the tutorial, I discovered I have a mistake. So inside game manager to set win UI, you need to check your spelling for level and add an L to it. So I forgot to do that. That's why it's preferable for you to have a variable which contains this string, so you don't keep messing up like this. So if you made a mistake like me following this tutorial, make sure you correct it, or else our value would not be set to 1 and that would be bad. So let's continue with that. Save this now and go back inside of Unity. Right, so once that loads, we can now go back. You can drag the game manager to this game object position and then access the method. So this method is going to be start game, and that's it. So that button has been set. Now you can now set this to be no longer active since there is no more use for it currently. Now let's test the game. Alright, so once this game is active, take note, this is our first canvas which has only one level unlocked, which is this one. So I'm going to click it now and the game is going to start. So we're going to reach our final destination. Alright, so I'm going to move. Okay, and then final spot. Okay, so you can see there is a win, and I'm going to click on the button and you can see our second level has been unlocked. So this is just a simple method which you can use to unlock various levels. So you can repeat the same step for 3, 4, and 5. So you can unlock all those with this method. Right, so with this we've come to the end of today's video. If you enjoyed my video, make sure you give me a like, subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss any of my content. I can see subscribers going up, so that's a good one. I really appreciate those of you who have subscribed. Anyways, thank you for watching this video, and I'm hoping to see you in my next video.